And a very happy Wednesday to you at 12:09 in the West. Talk Radio 790 KABC, The John Phillips Show. Broadcasting live from the Morongo Casino Resort and Spa Living Room Studios. Mr. Randy Wang's at the sports desk in Culver City.
John, as you know, whenever it is a Tuesday, a Wednesday, or a Friday, so a
Tuesday, Wednesday, and
Friday, there's an LA City Council meeting. And I always, when I come in, make sure to monitor the LA City Council meeting to see if anything crazy happens during the public comment section. And things were pretty business as usual with your crazy cast of characters, including the guy who brings a goat puppet, the guy who claims that Kevin De Leon is a racist, the lady that sings that I don't play anymore because her songs aren't very good. And yet I noticed a familiar face in the gallery. Daniel Gus, who's been a guest on this show many times. He's the Gus Report on Substack. He is the insider for LA City Hall. He was about to speak about Kevin De Leon when someone wanted to shout at him. And Paul Krikorian was having none of it. Would you like to hear?
Of course.
On the Kevin De Leon items, he's serving the people, and I think he learned from chaos, you can end up serving the people. And the truth is, Mr. De Leon is going to be reelected. He's going to be reelected comfortably. I'm just trying to speak.
I'm sorry. Hold this time for a second. Please stop shouting out. Mr. Gus has the floor, and you're interrupting the meeting. No shouting out from anyone in this chamber, or you'll be removed under Rule 12. No shouting out by. Okay, you're ordered removed from the meeting. One moment, Mr. Gus. Sure. Okay, pursuant to Rule 12, Ms. Lewis has been ordered removed and has left the chamber.
Paul Krikorian just doesn't have the same energy he used to 6 months ago.
No, he sounds like a totally defeated man.
So they got the crazy people who were screaming at Daniel Gus out of the room, and then Gus continued and said something that I wasn't expecting to hear today.
Mr. Gus.
Thank you. It just goes to show that, however you got here, Mr. De Leon is actually doing things that celebrate his district. He's going to be reelected comfortably because the only vote that matters are the 5,000 to 7,000 people he'll need to get reelected in Council District 14. And when you focus on what your constituents want, you'll get reelected. And the truth is, as John Phillips said on KABC, people do speak in a certain way. It may be off color, and what you say in private may not be what is acceptable to the LA Times. But Mr. De Leon will be reelected fairly comfortably, and you should use it as a model for serving the people who elect you.
Look at that. Johnny got a shout-out.
I was not expecting to get a shout-out at the LA City Council meeting.
And the truth is, as John Phillips said on KABC,
how great is that?
After the cursing to boot.
That's right. So Daniel Gus liked what he heard you say about Kevin De Leon and his chances of getting reelected against all the other people that want that seat that are termed out of the assembly. And he gave you a shout out in front of all members of the city council, including Kevin De Leon.
Now, did Kevin De Leon weigh in on that after that was said?
He did not, but I imagine if he did, he would just stand and do the pledge.
All right.
Madam President, today is Tuesday and time for the flag salute.
Mr. De Leon, can you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning?
Thank you very much, Madam President. It'd be an honor. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Indivisible, pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. For which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oof.
Oh, that makes me have goose pimples.
And the truth is, as John Phillips said on KABC,
that was said in LA City Council chambers. That's a part of public record.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'm right. The people who show up to those meetings to curse at Kevin De Leon do not live and vote in his district.
They are not Boyle Heights residents.
The people that were camped out in front of his house, the people that harass him at public events, the people that go after him on social media, the people who write about him in the newspapers, they don't have a say. The only people who have a say are the people who live in that district. And because they're the only ones that have a say, they have a number of issues on their mind when they go into that ballot box, independent of what happened on the tape. They want to know how they're represented at City Hall. They want to know if the homeless encampments are cleaned up. They want to know if city services are being provided. They want to know how he voted on the LAPD contract. It's a little bit more complicated than one scandal if you live in that district, because if your business is there, your home is there, your children are educated there, whatever the case may be, you have to weigh a bunch of different concerns.
Sure, he was in that room with Nuri and Gil and the guy from the Labor Fed Union, but he gave me a Christmas tree.
And that's what he's doing.
It works.
If you pay attention to his public events, he's no longer a candidate for mayor and appearing all over the city. He is only focused on what's going on in that district.
And telling really untrue stories about people using the metro in Little Tokyo.
That's true. What was it that Tip O'Neill used to say? All politics is local.
Now all politics is hyperlocal. Now, I figure one good shout-out deserves another. Daniel Gus continued in his general public comment to plug his latest investigation, the new scandal du jour at L.A. City Hall that involves one of our favorites, Ulysses Hernandez.
How dare you?
Wait till you hear this one, Johnny.
I'm going to go on to general public comment so that there is no misunderstanding. I'm not the Daniel Gus, the orthopedic surgeon. I'm danielgus.substack.com. You owe the public an apology because Ms. Hernandez came here last week unmasked while she still should have been masked or at home if she had to be here at all. She and you apparently enabled her to be here while she ignored California Department of Public Health guidelines, CDC guidelines about masking, even by her own timeline.
So here's what happened, Johnny. Last week, Ulysses Hernandez canceled an event with her constituents claiming that she got COVID. And she showed up to City Hall 2 days later not wearing a mask.
I think I have COVID is the new Madoff stole all my money.
Exposing hundreds of people who were here and potentially thousands of people who she went out unmasked over the weekend to other public events. Yesterday, I sent Ms. Hernandez an email and her staff, and I said, if you just say you made a mistake, I would have done better. I could have done better. I might let the issue go. But she hasn't apologized for this. And I have public records requests. If you want me to dig in further, I'm going to. If you don't want to apologize for exposing hundreds and thousands of people, keep it up.
Thank you.
Ulysses is a super spreader.
So they didn't require her to wear the mask because all of them just assumed that she was lying about having COVID?
I think that's the general consensus here. She used it to get out of an event.
She had COVID, but she came back with a tan and more American Airlines Advantage miles.
How dare you?
Do you think they tried to sell her the credit card?
Only if she was asleep. This is the new excuse. Your contractor doesn't finish your bathroom on time. Why is it that I don't have a toilet or a sink? Well, we got COVID, of course. How can you expect me to show up to work? I was at home coughing.
I got to use this. I'm going to use that to get out of some social events that I don't feel like going to.
If you have tickets to something and you don't want to go and you don't want to lose out on your money, you just call the airline and go, hey, I don't want to take off during that hurricane, but it's not because the weather's bad. It's because I have COVID. Would you like me to show up with COVID, or are you going to give me a refund? Who's going to question you?
They're not going to ask for a test.
No. Take a picture of the test for me and then send it over. Like you can't find one of those on the internet in 2.2 seconds. And it's not like they give out the tests at CVS anymore, like they used to when you were required to show a proof of a negative test result before you got on a cruise ship or before you came back into the country or whatever the case may be. That doesn't exist anymore. So you want out of something, you say you have COVID. I have someone who's working at my house right now who's claimed to have had COVID 3 times this year. But I'm not going to question them because I don't want COVID. I mean, I have a pretty good idea they're not being truthful with me. But just in case they are, I don't want to be at home coughing too.
You don't want to have that fight.
No. If I win the point. If I lose, I'm on a ventilator. No, you just take their word for it. Hey, Randy, we have lunch plans on Saturday.
I can't go. I got COVID.
Yeah, usually it's like a dog with the earthquakes. You can tell you're going to get COVID several hours before you actually get it.
Throat's starting to feel real scratchy here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll call the restaurant and say we'll reschedule for another time.
So do we think Ulysses was trying to get out of the public event, or was there something else she was trying to get out of, and she told a friend or family member she had COVID, and the only way she was going to be able to backsell that was to also cancel the event?
You can never tell. Who knows what was on her calendar? Maybe it was a family birthday party. Maybe she was going to the tractor pool. I don't know. But that would be an interesting story if she lied about having COVID to get out of something.
Well, and people know Daniel Gus. He digs and he digs and he digs. And when he gets his findings, I'm sure he'll tell everyone about it at an LA City Council meeting, which he messaged me earlier. He said the smell there was especially ripe today.
Well, if people were at that meeting, was she coughing? Was she sneezing? Was she blowing her nose? Did she look ill? If she just had COVID, you would assume there'd be some residual effects.
Maybe she got one of those very special one-night-only COVIDs.
Oh, yes. That's the kind of COVID you get when you want to get out of the lunch.
The I don't want to do this town hall in Huntington Park COVID.
If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, you're monitoring the mailbag.
Well, here's an interesting one from Zacco, which is a cool name. Response to your OC Register opinion. Hey, John, some dolt tried to respond to your democracy piece. No shortage of mindless folks out there. Rock on.
Boy, my ears are burning all over the place today. I'm getting shout-outs at the LA City Council meeting. People are trying to excoriate me in the pages of the newspaper and the letters to the editor section.
You've broken through. You're finally a part of the public consciousness.
What's next? Am I going to be on Nextdoor Digest?
Actually, I think some people do that.
That's true, when I yelled at that woman over the mask. Actually, it was her yelling at me about the mask, and I took it to a very dark place, and she didn't like it and attacked me on the Nextdoor website.
Hey, it's all good for us. Keep spreading the word about the content that you hear on this show.
And, of course, if you want to hear the podcast edition of this show, Randy, that's easy to do.
That's right. Go to KABC.com, click on podcast, the Apple Podcasts, iHeart, Spotify, search for The John Phillips Show, hit subscribe, or even easier than that, we've got the brand new KABC app. So search for KABC AM in the Apple App Store or the Android Store. Easiest way there is now to listen live to this station whenever and wherever you are. And when you're not listening from noon to 3 and you still want to hear this show, the podcasts are right there. It's a click of a button. It is so simple. It works with CarPlay. It is the best way to listen to podcasts of this show. So do it so you can hear every show on Friday, every Monday show, and every show on
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
It's Woo Wednesday.
Ric Flair.
It's Woo Wednesday. Yeah, baby. Woo, 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 woo.
And Randy, that means tomorrow is Throwback Thursday.
That's right. So in the 2 o'clock hour, we're going to open up the phones. And if you've got a suggestion for the music that we play on tomorrow's show, we really love the creative themes. Last week was all Desi Arnaz music in honor of, well, you know what it was in honor of.
Quite frankly.
So come up with something that good. It's definitely going to make it. But whatever you got, we love to hear your opinion. You call in when we say so, and we'll pick one lucky listener who chooses all the music for tomorrow's Throwback Thursday.
I was at dinner last night, and the bartender was using, quite frankly, like it was machine gun fire.
Oh, no.
And I was laughing, of course, for what I'm sure she regarded as no reason. So I look like a serial killer.
Quite frankly.
I have ruined everybody who listens to this show. As soon as you hear it, you can't not hear it.
What do you say we make a couple of listeners very happy?
Well, let's do that right now. 790 KABC welcomes Mariah Carey. It's Merry Christmas, one and all, at the Hollywood Bowl on November 17th. Tickets are on sale Friday at Ticketmaster.com, but right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-790-5222 gets a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets furnished by Live Nation. Good luck dialing.
We frequently open up the KABC Crime Blotter on this show to let you know just exactly what types of crimes are brazenly being committed all over the state of California.
Mostly Oakland.
That's right. And then we have the sound for you of the district attorney in Oakland or the district attorney in Los Angeles or various elected officials like Holly Mitchell making excuses for the criminals, saying the criminals are the real victims and the victims are the real criminals.
Quite frankly.
However, today we have a curveball for you. Isn't that right, Randy?
That's right. We've got a crime blotter story that reaches to us all the way from Columbus, Ohio.
And in this case, the mother of the criminal isn't saying that the criminal is the victim. The mother of the criminal is saying, why don't you fools lock him up?
First, let's get the crime blotter open.
If the cashier is dummy.
Questions?
Let's hear what this mother has to say as she pleads for the police to lop up her no good son. We go to a report from WBNS, Columbus.
Well, tonight, car thefts across the city continue with 3 incidents happening just this morning.
And now a mother of a teen who is stealing these cars is speaking out, asking for help. 10 TV's Carly Dion spoke with her today and joins us live with more on why she's frustrated. Carly.
Andrew, Yolanda, Tiffany Hammonds says her 17-year-old son recently started down a bad path, and she's done all she could to try to stop it. Now she's wondering what more could be done if police keep releasing her son from custody.
I've been begging and pleading. Please arrest him.
Oh, boy. That is a mother who is done.
Please arrest him. Lock him up, do something that's going to make him pay for the things that he's out here doing.
Tiffany Hammonds says her 17-year-old son has been caught stealing cars multiple times by police, and he's driving without a license.
Wait, this is Ohio?
Yes.
You'd think they'd have a little bit more sense than that.
She feels not enough is being done to stop him.
I've done almost everything I could. And it's turning him against me. He's one.
You can hear it in the background, right? The Ohio bugs.
Is that what that is? I thought it was a live wire at first.
That's skeeters. That's why people don't want to live there.
I've done almost everything I could. And it's turning him against me. He's going the opposite way and doing what he wants to do, and which is turning to the streets.
Hammond says when her son has been caught by police for stealing or crashing a stolen vehicle, they keep bringing him home.
And she said, I don't want him, throw him in jail.
Grand Theft Auto is a crime where your punishment is the naughty chair.
Hammond says when her son has been caught by police for stealing or crashing a stolen vehicle, they keep bringing him home.
I think him seeing that nothing is being done is giving him more of an adrenaline rush to go back out and do it again.
Between January and August of this year, more than 7,000 cars have been stolen in the city of Columbus. A little more than half.
That's almost Oakland level.
That's pretty bad.
Oakland's like 10,000, but Columbus, Come on.
Isn't that a college town, too?
What do you think the population of Columbus, Ohio is?
I don't know. Probably smaller than Oakland.
Columbus, Ohio population, it's almost similar. It's 900,000. And they've had 7,000 car thefts.
That's not good.
Between January and August of this year, more than 7,000 cars have been stolen in the city of Columbus. A little more than half of them have been Kias and Hyundais.
I'm sure there are some owners that are like, well, I knew what I was getting into.
Now, wait, aren't those both Korean companies?
Yes, they are.
What do they have against the Koreans in Ohio?
Well, this is probably that same exploit that is really easy to figure out how to steal these cars if you just watch videos on TikTok, where you have attorney generals like Rob Bonta claiming that's the manufacturer's fault. It's not the thieves' fault. It's
Great.
so easy to steal these cars. How could you not steal one? It's entrapment.
Kias and Hyundais. Hammond says she fears the threat her son poses.
That's right. When you're a 17-year-old and you're thinking about, jacking a ride and showing around how great you are, you want to steal a Kia Soul. Nothing makes you look badass like that.
Hammond says she fears the threat her son poses to others and himself.
Since he's left that I know of, he's crashed 5 cars. And I reported each and every one that I know of. And he's still out here.
It's not known if her son was part of the group who stole a Kia and Hyundai found at Crum Park. The Hyundai had been set on fire while the Kia was left in the pond.
I mean, that does sound like his M.O.
So wait, so they lit one on fire and they put the other one in a pond.
Well, they already had their fun with the car. What are they going to do? Just leave it out there?
Well, if you're going to go to all the trouble to steal a car, don't you want to drive it again?
Well, at some point you realize I could do better than a Kia.
About 4 hours later, officers say after a 911 call, they found a group of teens inside a car near the 700 block of Thurman Avenue. The driver then rammed into a Columbus police cruiser multiple times, causing damage to the front bumper before leaving the scene. As the city calls on parents to watch their kids, what happens when they've done all they could? This mother hopes something is done soon.
We're trying. But once they're here and they leave again, then what? What are we supposed to do?
And as for those car thefts earlier this morning, Columbus police say so far no arrests have been made. Reporting live at Columbus Police Headquarters, Carly Dion, 10 TV News.
Well, I'll tell you, the stories are similar in Ohio as they are here in California. The difference is the response from the parents. Here, the parents do nothing but make excuses. In Ohio, this woman is all the way pissed off.
She has gotten to that Cecily Mark Cruz level of dealing with her son.
And I want you to be all the way pissed off.
Maybe we need Cecily on the force in Columbus.
I wonder if her son watched the report on the news.
Oh, he probably took a screenshot of it and put it on TikTok. Say, look at this. My Kia thieving made the news. Look at that Sorrento I stole.
Well, there's 2 of them. There was one on fire and there was one in the pond.
Oh, that was the Sonata.
Oh. What about the Nissan Altima?
No, nobody is stealing a Nissan Altima. Now, I know there have been reports that some people are stealing Nissan Altimas, but I got to let you know, this hack that they have figured out on TikTok is only for Kias and Hyundais. However, if someone did steal a Nissan Altima, we know who's on the lookout for it.
That was an Altima ALTMA 4899410. Please move it now. You're blocking someone.
See, that car wasn't stolen. It was blocking an entrance.
If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, you're monitoring the mailbag.
Lots of people blasting away at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. Let's start with Chuck, who writes in about Kia. I used to be in the car business, and Kia and Hyundai went cheap on the keys. There's no computer chip in them, so it's so easy to steal. Ohio is one of several states that sued them for making them that way. And then listen to Jen. I have to get the bleep button ready for this one. Jen writes in at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. Ohio is a hole. How do I know? Have you ever watched the show Love After Lockup? Do you know how many of those yahoos are from the great state of Ohio? That tells me all I need to know about the whole Ohio. People like to blast away at this email address. We encourage it. It's a great place to vent.
I'm assuming she's not a Buckeye.
I would think not. And by the way, Columbus is where the Ohio State is. So it's also the state's capital. So that's where a whole lot of people are. Cleveland only has like 300,000 people, but Columbus almost.
Right now, I want to focus on something the L.A. city government is doing that might ruin Westchester. Westchester, of course, is the home to Loyola Marymount University. It's right there next to the coast. It's next to LAX. It's such a beautiful part of Los Angeles, such a beautiful part of California. A lot of single-family homes, a lot of people who like that beach lifestyle, that coastal lifestyle. And Randy, that may be coming to an end.
That's right. A side effect of all of Karen Bass's executive orders to build more housing is causing developers to find loopholes that will allow them to build 7-story apartment buildings for affordable housing on one single-family lot in a neighborhood.
And, of course, Fox 11's great Ed Laskos is on the scene.
This is happening all over L.A., but the residents of Westchester are up in arms, and they're not the only ones.
Neighborhood groups in Westchester on the move, pushing back against the city and its plan to rezone, clearing the way for high-rise housing construction.
This is an insane plan to try to sweep through our neighborhood amongst many others across the city, and I'm sick of the lack of transparency.
It's not going to be okay. And I'm going to do my damnedest to get out and get people aware that this is happening in our community.
Emotions at the neighborhood council meeting as it decides on sending the controversial plan ahead to LA city lawmakers, a plan the residential neighborhoods here want no part of.
A lot of people are just starting to find out that neighborhood councils are absolutely meaningless and feckless. They can't do anything. And a lot of the people that are on there are part of these groups that want to push forward things like this.
There's no point. There's no point to those neighborhood councils. In fact, the man who wrote the city charter was a professor of mine, Rafe Sonnenschein. Good guy. We have him on the show. The point of the neighborhood councils was to give the appearance, the appearance of public safety on the MTA. The neighborhood councils were put on the books to give the appearance that the city council paid attention to the neighborhoods, so they didn't vote to break away from the city of Los Angeles. Because at the time, you had the San Fernando Valley that was looking at breaking away. You had San Pedro that was looking at breaking away. And you had Hollywood that was looking to break away. So they needed to do something to make the neighborhoods feel like they had a voice, even though they don't.
Didn't work. We should break away.
A huge nightmare, especially knowing that they have options. They have other places where they can do this type of building. And they're really not even taking into account that they're not going to solve the low-income problem.
That is, high-rise, low-income housing projects have now become an emotional lightning rod right through the city. Here in Sherman Oaks, this vacant lot could be turned into a 7-story, 200-unit, low-income housing complex.
We thought it was a mistake. We thought it was a joke.
And in Sun Valley, a notice of demolition here, clearing the way for more than 70 low-income housing units.
This is what the state of emergency was really for, to bypass all of the regular hurdles and public input you got to go through to steamroll housing that the neighbors don't want.
That's right. And it also gives people at City Hall who are corrupt the power of God to make a project happen. This is what they did with Staples Center. There was no way they'd ever be able to build Staples Center if they went through all the regular procedures and went through all the process. So what did they do? They got exemptions. How do you get exemptions? You write checks.
They don't have to do any environmental impact studies. They don't have to talk to neighbors. The city is giving them permission to do whatever they want in the name of affordable housing.
And in the name of LA Mayor Karen Bass and her fast-tracking of low-income housing development.
We are not going to let them get away with this, and we've had enough.
Back in Westchester, this neighborhood group has its own message for the mayor.
We are not going to sit quietly and take this. We are not going to let this happen. We reject all upzoning of our residential properties.
That's going to happen, though.
Oh, it's absolutely going to happen. This is what they want. And by the way, look at everything they're doing in the state right now that our infrastructure is not capable of handling. Traffic is awful. So let's just take away the Marina Del Rey freeway and turn that into homeless housing. We have an electrical problem where our electrical grid goes down. Oh, let's try to force everyone to have an electric car. So that way we take the grid out sooner rather than later. We have a sewage issue. The sewage pipes and the sewage tunnels are only built for single-family homes in that neighborhood. Let's put in a 7-story low-income unit, and let's see what happens to the sewage and the parking and the electrical and everything else that's not built for that. It's almost as if they want everything to crumble. It's almost as if they want everything to shut off. It's almost as if they want nothing to work the way it's supposed to. The stupidity that comes from that city hall is really hard to quantify.
The only intelligent thing I've ever heard of there is someone heard the John Phillips show.
That's right. And thanks to Daniel Gus for that shout out. Do we have that again?
And the truth is, as John Phillips said on KABC.
Oh, that warms my heart to hear. All right, we've got 2 more hours coming up on the John Phillips Show. This is Talk Radio 790 KABC.
It's woo!